What's up, everybody? Dickens, founder of Playology and friend of FitLifeTV. How are you doing today? Look, we are in San Diego in this beautiful tree, back to talk to you again a little bit more about play. So what we're going to talk about today is just the life and putting all these pieces of play into action. So up until now, you've actually enrolled people in a life that you don't want. And what I mean by that is you've had conversations with people and you may have given a couple of excuses. I don't have time to do this. I can't go get that because of... And people have agreed with you and allowed you to keep playing at that very, very small level. And what I'm here to tell you today is there's a different way to go about it. And it's making sure that you surround yourself with people who are going to not allow you to play at that small level anymore and encourage you to play at a higher level. These people, instead of agreeing with you when you say that you don't have time to do something, are actually going to be like, you know what? You do have time if you make it for yourself. I'm sure you probably do everything you can, everything in your power to make sure the people around you are taken care of. And that is amazing, and it shows how great of a person you are. But I'm also pretty sure on the other side, you're not that great about taking care of yourself. And what I mean by that is, imagine a teacup, okay? And in this teacup, it's got holes, right? And there's cups around it. And every morning when you get up, you put that teacup in the water, and you go and you try to fill up all the other little cups around you. But with the holes, the amount of water that you have in that cup is just spilling out. So by the time you get to the third or fourth cup, you're completely empty. Now, fast forward, you start taking care of yourself and you actually start plugging up these little holes. So now when you get up in the morning, you fill up the cup, there's no water spilling out on the other side, which means you have more water to share with everybody else and fill up all their cups. And by the time you're done pouring, you actually have water left for yourself. That's the metaphor of life. If you were actually able to start taking care of yourself first and doing things for you, that's what life would look like. And it's one of the things that I've talked about with quite a few people. It's actually starting to be a little selfish. And some people don't like that word because it's got such a negative connotation, right? So I've created another word. How about thinking about it as being lovish? You start loving yourself first and saying yes to you, but sometimes that means you have to say no to somebody else. And it's not to be selfish, quote unquote, but it's just to make sure that you have everything in your pot in order to give to everybody else, which means you show up even more powerful for those around you. What I want to do is just invite you to play this game of no. And what does that game look like? Well, it's actually a lot of fun. I've made it myself. 90% of the time, we say yes to things that we really don't want to do. And yes, there are some things that we absolutely have to do in order to make sure that life works. But most of the time when we're saying yes to some of these things that we're just kind of like, I guess I could do that, we end up being really sad or resenting the fact that we're doing some of those things. And it doesn't leave time for us to do the things that we want to do. So I'm going to encourage you to say no to anything that is not in that 90 to 100% yes. If you say yes to only the things that you want to do, the amazingness that's going to come in your life is unbelievable. But I also don't want you to go about it doing it by yourself. Why? Because doing it separate and alone is something that's very, very hard. So I want you to enroll an accountability buddy. Just find one of your friends and actually have a conversation with them and ask them to help support you in taking care of yourself and loving yourself first before taking care of everybody else. And when you pick this one friend, you need to make sure that they have two things. One, they are not going to allow you to continue to do the things that you know aren't great for you. And two, they're going to stand for your greatness and your power, and they're going to be willing to say something when you're not playing in that position. It's been a great time hanging out with you today. I just wanted to say goodbye. Dickens, the founder of Playology and friend of FitLifeTV. Have an amazing evening.